Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today we have some XRP news, we have some Bitcoin news, we have some CBDC news, Solana news, we have some banking news. We have a lot of news to get through today. A lot of big things happening as of late. Now, I want to start with some XRP / banking news, right? Because Ripple has been talking a lot lately about their activities outside of the US. Now, don't get me wrong. We want to take the US. I believe we will take the US, but that's later. After we finish this case, we'll address that. But I think a lot of people don't have as much enthusiasm about the banks outside of the US as they should. Now, how many banks are outside of the US? No, let's start here. How many banks are there globally? That's a question to ask, right? And then I did a little Google search here, went on Google, and it says there are approximately, of course, this is an estimation. There's always banks closing. There's banks opening up. So this number is going to change constantly. But it's around 44,000 banks globally. 44,000 banks. Wait a minute. You know what? I should have done a search. How many banks? We're going to do some math. How many banks are in the US total? So we can see what's out there for the taking, obviously, right? What can we connect? What percentage can we take? How many banks? I don't know why. I want to say something else. My YouTube and my Google have been glitching crazy. Has yours? Like, for instance, if you saw when I posted the video last night, it didn't put Blackrock in the title. It just put black. It's been deleting all of my titles. Like, before I can save it, it deletes my titles. I don't know what's going on, but I've seen crazier glitches on YouTube. They usually fix things pretty fast. Once again, like I said, then there's also a comment section problem. Some of you leave me comments. I got to go to the actual video to see the comment instead of my YouTube app on my phone to see the comment, which is not typical. That's been another glitch happening. Then sometimes I make a comment. It deletes my comment. It deletes my comment from my own channel. YouTube, what are you doing? It's my channel. How you delete my comment? So I got to respond multiple times. I don't know if people are seeing that on the other end. I have no idea how it appears. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with. I'm not the only one. I saw other complaints about things like that, right? On Down Detector. But anyway. So now, how many banks are in the U.S. total? It says at the end of 2023, there were 4,470 FDIC insured commercial banks in the country. 4,470. Wait a minute. That's what I'm talking about, folks. The possibilities are endless if these bank coin companies play their cards right. So, globally, 44,000 banks, right? Let's put that in. I have my old school calculator. You see that? Old school calculator. That's right. That's how I like it. 44,000 banks globally. Let's minus the US, since right now, we have to wait until after the case to go heavy with the US. So let's minus the US. Hold on. I messed up. 44,000 minus 4,470. My hands are huge, by the way. That's why I keep pressing all the numbers I'm not supposed to press. That's also why I can hold a basketball real good, too. Just right. Yeah, right. I can do all that Jordan stuff because my hands are big. Those are big hands. But anyway, whatever. Just saying. That's why it's taking me a little time here. So equals. That leaves us with 39,530 banks for the taking on the table. Even if they build their own systems, which most of these banks have not been working fully on digitizing their systems. You got to understand that. Then on the other hand, 39,000, that's a lot to choose from. We don't need all of that. We'll get to the value in a moment. Don't worry. We're going to cover a lot here. But the ones who are working on digitizing their systems, those systems are so customized that they're siloed, they're cordoned off, they're off to themselves. They don't have interoperability because they're so customized, and every bank will want customization. This is why it's brilliant that Ripple has focused on the rest of the world and making those partnerships. You have other big institutions, financial institutions like SBI, pushing XRP and XRPL systems everywhere. They're about to use the XRPL for their NFTs very soon. We covered that article, but They'll need connector pieces in the rest of the world. Then we just had more countries ditch the dollar. Did you see that? I may have an article about that. I believe the last country to ditch the dollar was Venezuela. They have some more things going on in Venezuela. I have no idea why. I think I read that there's sanctions coming back, or there's more sanctions. I don't know why. But anyway, because of that, they're ditching the dollar, and now they're beginning to utilize crypto, right? Crypto. And that's after we read an article last week about a lot of the BRICS nations, until they can fully digitize their local currencies and until they come out with their common BRICS currency, that they're going to probably be using some sort of crypto and as a placeholder until then. So you have all of this activity, but leaving the US alone, 39,530 banks to connect, possibly. And I'm not saying to we'll take them all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that that's a pretty big number to take something from. That's a lot of opportunity is what I'm saying, right? And in those banks is a lot of value. Let's get to the value now. That's where things get really interesting about what's going on. So now we got through that. How many banks are in the world? Okay, so now what is the total asset? This is what we need to know next. What is the total global asset value of all banks? Of course, once again, this is an estimation. This is what it says, folks. Lend your ears to this. $183 trillion total in value, in assets. And keep in mind, all assets, listen, all assets will be tokenized. Everything will be tokenized. You just have Blackrock come out and say that everything will be tokenized. Then I have an article later on where BlackRock's clarifying how serious they are about real world assets. At the beginning of the year, what was Ripple talking about going heavy into? Tokenization of real world assets. And all the other bank coins are heavy in the, tokenization of RWA as well. Stellar is there. Hedera is there. Quant definitely is there. Solana. So there is definitely enough money to go around. So it says the value of bank assets worldwide increased gradually between 2002 and 2022. Despite some fluctuation in 2022, global bank assets amounted to more than 183 trillion US dollars. All right, now keep that number in mind, right? Once again, so that's global. So now let's go here. Let's go to US banks because we want to subtract that out. So wait, first let's put that number there, 183. And then we're going to minus the US amount. So that way we get an idea of what's for the taking, what's on the table, what's possible to take, possible, not a guarantee. And I say to take some from, because like I said, I don't expect them to take all of that value, although I would love that. But we need to know what the rest of the world has alone, apart from the US. So now, here we go. It says, as of October 19th, 2023, there were 4,049 commercial banks and 565 savings and loan associations in the U.S., insured by the FDIC, and their total was 23.4 trillion. Let's round that off to 23 minus. So 183 minus 23 equals, that leaves $160 trillion in value for the taking, to take a piece of that. So listen, if the top bank coins, which most of the cryptos, let's be real, most of the top cryptos now are bank coins. You got Solana in there, you got Chainlink in there, you got XRP in there. Come on now, Stellar, let's not play these games. So if they could take a piece of that, I mean, how much do you think it would affect that price? There's $160 trillion on the table. You think they can't take $1 trillion in the next 2-3 years? They can't take $1 trillion. Bitcoin's going to do what it does. But I'm saying with utility kicking in, you got all these big companies working with the bank coin companies or some sort of association. You got like Stellar with the Bank for International Settlements. You have Quant with the Bank of England and the Bank for International Settlements and a lot of other banks. You have Ripple with SBI and all these other banks, Bank of America, stuff like that. But then they'll tap into Bank of America later once we can access fully the U.S. market. But you think they can't take $1 trillion? Listen. The possibilities are endless is all I'm saying. There's a lot to 160 trillion non-US dollars in value are possible to be accessed. And if they do their job correctly and they take a big chunk of that, which a lot of that will be BRICS nations' value, which they will need to be connected to the West, and the West will be needed to be connected to the East. Once again, if you haven't watched that last members only video, go watch that, because that's going to play a huge part. That type of activity in that last members only video is going to play a huge part in the siloing of a fragmented world that needs to be connected and going to dramatically need liquidity. And that's another thing I'm going to put out there, just my humble opinion. Let me put the calculator down, put it down now. That's another thing. With the digitization of local currencies, because there is so much geopolitical tension in the world, bank runs can happen at any times. And this is what I'm talking about when I speak about stablecoins. You lived it. You read the articles on it. We heard what the Fed had to say on it. We heard what the Bank for International Settlements had to say on it. Stablecoins are not stable. They need liquidity, especially when there's geopolitical tension or there's upheavals in the banking system. You need liquidity, especially when there's bank runs, because when there's bank runs and everybody's removing their capital, those stablecoins can become depegged. So, I mean, having instant liquidity and having on-demand liquidity, all of that stuff like that, when you can create huge liquidity pools that only we can do, we can only do that. Stablecoins can't do that, which is why you had the USDC problem. You had other problems, the Terra problem, all of those DPEGs. You had problems with those because of that lack of liquidity, right? It can rapidly go down, but we can create liquidity cushions and in a variety of different ways. Once again, just my opinion. Not financial advice, just my opinion. So I just wanted to put that on your table. There's a lot of money out there for the taking outside the U.S., right? So don't underestimate the potency of all of this different building that's going on outside of the U.S. All right, so now let's get to the regular articles, all right? Okay, so now I like that. I like that kind of research. I like when I get into the numbers, because the numbers are interesting. So now this article here is titled TVL on Total Value Locked on XRPL surpasses 7 million XRP in a month. Wow. This is getting very interesting very quickly. It says total value locked across all the XRPL automated market makers has surpassed the 7 million XRP mark, with total XRP locked rising to 3.7 million tokens. It says Vet, a DUNL validator and co-founder of NFT marketplace XRP Cafe, first drew the public's attention to this impressive growth rate, noting that the total value locked with the XRPL automated market maker ecosystem has seen remarkable increase in just a few days after he failed to pay attention to it. Well, no, but this is the same person that gave us the update the first time, correct? And it was looking wonderful. It was like after 2 days, this person gave us an update and everything was looking very, very good in my humble opinion. So now it says citing data from XRPL-based DeFi analytics resource DexFi, Vet showed in a post today that all assets locked from the XRPL AMM pools have increased to a worth of 7.4 million XRP, valued at $3.9 million at the time. All right, so now let's move on here. We have a lot of articles, so I'm going to get through them as quickly as I can. So now this article here, what is this article about? All right, so it says here, Ripple CTO explains why the upcoming cross-chain bridge is important for the XRPL. All right, Mr. Schwartz, let's hear what you have to say. Insights from David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, about the significance of the imminent cross-chain bridge for the XRP ledger recently surfaced in the crypto community. Schwartz had explained the importance of the upcoming XRPL cross-chain bridge during the developer summit. XRP community figure XRP Drops called the public's attention to this disclosure in a recent post on X. Let's scroll down here. They have like some videos cropped from Twitter X. They have a post crop there, but we can just get it from the article. It says here, why cross-chain bridges are vital for the XRPL. First, the Ripple CTO highlighted that the XRPL mainnet excels in payments. He noted that while it is the primary platform for XRP, it has the potential for broader utility. Meanwhile, Schwartz argued that the notion that a layer 1 solution could cater to all possible needs is unrealistic. He emphasized that regardless of the scalability improvements on the main network, limitations would persist, especially for users requiring specialized computing resources. Moreover, Schwartz pointed out another limiting factor in storage capacity and trade-offs around deploying applications on the main network. For instance, he cited that when something is added to the XRPL, each mainnet node must store and transmit those transactions. He emphasized that this ultimately overwhelms available resources. Quote, whatever capacity a main network has, that's all it has. Whatever capabilities it has, there will have to be capabilities it doesn't have. No layer 1 will ever be everything to everyone. Makes perfect sense to me. All right, so now let's move on here. What news? Oh, wait. Oh, we get into the banking news. Now, this is interesting. Very, very interesting if you ask me. Let me get straight to this portion here. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this article here. The banks, JP Morgan, we're going to hone in on JP Morgan today. Their financial advisors are turning on them. Now, we've all been reading about these toxic, this is how they phrase it, toxic environments within the banking ecosystem. And some of the top financial advisors are not liking that, and they are leaving for other places. This is why I always find it so interesting. JP Morgan has had so many widely publicized problems, and yet they are the biggest trash talkers in the banking industry. I never understand that. Why talk trash? Why not just fix your own system first? Worry about the other stuff later. That's how I look at it. Or just don't worry about the other stuff at all. It has nothing to do with you. Worry about making your system better because they're going through some big problems. Anyway, so now this article is titled Top Financial Advisors Leave JP Morgan in Bloody Friday. They're calling this Bloody Friday. The reasons behind JP Morgan's Bloody Friday. All right, so let's scroll down here and find out what is going on. It says some advisors felt a cultural misfit at JP Morgan, which despite being a leading consumer bank with over $3.3 trillion in client assets, has significantly different environment from the more boutique-like First Republic. This sentiment was particularly strong. Remember, we just covered an article the other day about some banks that were involved in like whistleblower cover-ups, right? They were bullying the people into non-disclosure agreements. And so now they're under investigation by the CFTC. You know, that's illegal. You can't do that. And I believe JP Morgan was one of them. Don't quote me on that, but I believe they were one of them. So this makes perfect sense. You know, people don't like to be mistreated, just to keep it simple. So now it says here, this sentiment was particularly strong among advisors who sought a smaller, more personalized firm atmosphere. Bill Willis of Willis Consulting pointed out that many of these advisors had originally left larger wirehouses, seeking a more client-centric boutique environment, which they found lacking at JP Morgan. Despite these departures, a JP Morgan spokeswoman reported that the bank had retained 90% of its client assets post-acquisition and had experienced minimal advisor attrition. However, the full impact of these losses and the final number of advisors who choose to stay will only be clear once JP Morgan completes the planned migration of former First Republic advisors and their clients. I'm not sure if this was an accurate number. Let me scroll up here and see if they have a number on here. I believe another article said there was about 48 advisors. Is that correct? Some of you may have seen this news. Oh, wait, no. Wait, they have it. Wait a minute. My apologies. They have it here. Okay, because I read about 2-3 articles about this. It says here, the departure of the teams not only represented a significant financial blow in terms of assets, but also a loss of considerable talent. Everything is shifting, but it says here, over 48 professionals, all at the same time, 48 professionals, including numerous top-ranked advisors, they left to join firms like Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. I'd like to know who joined Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has been in trouble. My word. It says regional bank, Citizens, and independent firm Crescent. So 48. So I was right. It was 48. That's what I thought I heard. Wow. And they don't even know if that's the final number. You know, we will see. Things are heating up in the banking industry. If people didn't believe, if they don't believe in karma, which karma works both ways. You have good karmas, you have bad karmas. Karma just means, energy that you develop out of your patterns and your habits over your lifetime and etc. But if they don't believe in bad karma coming back to you, maybe JP Morgan should start now because, man, there's been a lot of bad things happening to them lately. I'm just saying, folks, you don't have to agree with that. It's just my personal thoughts on the spot. So now let's get to some Bitcoin news. Bitcoin, the big dog, the OG on the block. We're hoping Bitcoin will go off very soon. I know it takes some time after the halving, but man, it's fun to get excited. I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at the future and I'm thinking things are looking really good. In my humble opinion, things are looking really, really good. So now, this article is titled, Bitcoin Looks Ready to Play Out Final Vertical Point of Parabolic Trend, says analyst. All right, let's hear what this analyst has to say. It says a closely followed crypto strategist thinks Bitcoin is primed to launch the final steep rally of its parabolic trend. So this analyst is named Kevin Svensson. All right, I've never heard anything from this analyst before, but I can't read everything. It says, quote, Bitcoin may be ready to play out the final vertical point on the parabolic trend, which is a big, big move. Bitcoin is currently sitting in base 4. Once we break a new high that confirms base 4, we could be headed toward $90,000. And if it heads to $90,000, I expect a huge dip. People are going to take profit. Just know that. It should be a huge dip. But after that dip, I expect that rubber band to be pulled back because then things are going to get people are way more bullish on it than $90,000. They're coming back. They're going to take profit, come back. And then that 90,000, understand, it's going to draw more people in. Like I said, there's so many regular people that dislike Bitcoin because the mainstream media has cultivated that negative energy about crypto and Bitcoin. But now that's being counteracted by the fact that so many people are struggling in the US. That's just a fact. They're struggling and they need money for themselves, for their children. So now they're willing to put into Bitcoin because Bitcoin has proven to be a constant money maker. They're seeing it as proof themselves, right? So they may come and add some money to the pot, and then that could push Bitcoin up to that $100,000 point. Yes. Give me $100,000 Bitcoin. So anyway, I think that's possible. That's not a guarantee, but I think that's possible. But it hits around 90,000, expect to pull back, 85,000 pull back, just my humble thoughts. It says here, this big move, $66,000 to 90,000, that's a big move. Yeah, but there's going to be turbulence in between. It's not going to go that smooth. I don't think that's what this person is saying. He just doesn't have all the time in the world to explain everything semantically. You get what I'm saying? He has this little bit of space on Twitter to say this and a little bit of time out of his day. He's probably working or running a business. We don't have a lot of time in the day. Not people that have to actually, do a lot of things during the day. I know I do. So we don't have a lot of time. So this person's just trying to explain it the best they can with that little bit of time that they have. That's what I'm assuming. So no, it's not going to be that smooth. There's going to be a lot of turbulence from 66,000 to 90,000, in my humble opinion. He says that's a big move, despite what it looks like on the weekly chart. And there are indicators to suggest that we may be seeing this happen in the next month or two. I'll take it. I'll take it. Anytime this year, I think is good. The way that Bitcoin could go nuclear, well, first of all, a lot of people already made a lot of money. At least this is what they're saying. This is what the people tell me. I can't verify it's true. But I do read also, in addition to what people tell me, I read a lot of articles, and there's been a lot of assets that benefited from Bitcoin going up all those different times. And the people already were making a good amount of money. Just imagine if it goes nuclear. This is where I'm getting to. Imagine if Bitcoin goes nuclear, what people will be able to make then. Right. So anytime this year, I think going to be good, but we shall see. Now, let's move on to this next article here. I don't think I have so many articles left, folks. I don't know if we're going to get through all of them today. I appreciate every single one of you out there, though. I appreciate every single one of you and every single moment you spend here on the channel. Thank you. Let's scroll up here. What is this article about? Oh, yes. So more Bitcoin news. This article is titled Spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs Get the Official Approval in Hong Kong. Potential fee war unfolding, says analyst. I don't know why it is. Listen, we've been reporting on the Hong Kong Bitcoin and Ether ETFs for about 2 months now. We reported on it when it was just a rumor. Then it came to fruition. And then I don't know what was going on. The people were like, well, we need to hear it officially. It hasn't been officially announced. And now they're officially announcing it. But there you have it. I don't understand that, Once you see something roll out and you're getting all this information, all this data, you can go to the actual sources and see it for yourself. I don't know why you need someone to tell you that, but I mean, to each his own. It says this: Hong Kong regulators approved ETFs by Harvest Global Investments, China Asset Management, and jointly managed product of Bosera Asset Management and Hashkey Capital. The products could start trading on April the 30th. Bloomberg reported. We read that also a while ago. It says Hong Kong's market regulator has officially approved the first batch of crypto-related spot ETF funds, a first for the city and a move that could establish it as Asia's leading digital asset hub and unleash further growth in the sector. Yes, but what about this? We know about the Bitcoin. That's easy work, in my humble opinion. What about the Ethereum? Because they're throwing Ethereum in there. Give me specifics on that Ethereum ETF. I'm scrolling through just to see if they have anything here. It says Harvest is waiving all fees for the first 6 months. After the initial period, it will be 0.3% for both its spot Bitcoin and ETH funds. Okay, so so ETH is in there. Okay. All right, we'll get more clarity later. Let's move to the next article because I'm trying to get you all this news here. All right. And so now, here we go. World Economic Forum news. One of the members was actually talking to me about the World Economic Forum recently, but here we have some news about it. This article is titled World Economic Forum says 98% of central banks are preparing to launch CBDCs as finance enters next phase. But they're all at different stages of launching them. But I'll say this, the beautiful part is most of them are siloed. And once again, if you didn't see that, I want to say certain things, but I got to reference you to the members only video, the last one I put out. I can't give that away, but this plays wonderfully for a lot of the bank coins who will be involved in certain aspects of bridging these things together. I'll leave it at that. It says here, more than 98% of the world's central banks are, quote, researching, experimenting, piloting, or deploying, quote, central bank digital currencies, according to the World Economic Forum. And who's going to be the power that moves all of that? Like I said, that members only video. Watch that members only video. Who's going to be the power that moves all that value? It says the WEF, a Switzerland-based international organization focused on public-private cooperation, predicts in a new report that there could be 24 live CBDCs by 2030. They're playing it safe. 2030, 6 years from now. Come on now. Now stop it. In the next year or two, they're going to be dropping CBDCs. You see what's going on with the rapid push in Europe, the rapid push in the MENA region. You have the BRICS nations going insane with their rapid push. This is a contest and everybody wants to be the winner because they know whoever has the dominant platform is going to control the value. And if you control the value, most of the value in the world, you have a lot of political power. This is about power. It's not even about money. Not for them. It is. This is about power. And right now there's a lot of wrestling going on in the world between the West and the East over who's going to be the power in the future. And it's probably not going to be dictated too much militarily. Military's always there, but not. This is going to be a financial battle that's taking place right now. And why do I say that? Because most of the people that control, let's say, things like the military can be bought and sold. They can. You lobby them, you pay them some money, you help them build some businesses, and they do your bidding. So then if they control the military, then all you have to do, you don't have to have military skirmishes. You just have to control the people that control the military. You get what I'm saying? So this boils down to money and power and manipulation when it comes to these top powers. At least that's how I see it. You don't have to agree on that. This is my humble opinion. It says here, the organization argues that wholesale CBDCs, that's that big money, that's the intrabank payments that XRP can do, that Quant can do, there's been a lot of interesting things happening with Quant. It says that wholesale CBDCs, which are restricted to large transactions between financial institutions, could address banking industry challenges related to interbank payments and securities transactions. Quote, central bank money is crucial for interbank payments. There you go. That's the huge money that we've been looking at for years that we want to take a piece of. Now, I want to just hone in on Quant for a minute, focus in on Quant. Quant has been doing some amazing things, but they've kept it very, very quiet, working with a lot of the big banks around the world. And I'll say this. Watch out for if at any point in the next year and a half they roll out staking or delegation. If they do that, understand Quant they don't do things for retail, not at all. So if they do staking or delegation or something like that, where you can earn yield, that's for the banks. That's for the big institutions. And if they begin doing something like that and locking value up on chain, which, by the way, if you look at a lot of those different wallets, they've just been accumulating Quant. Why is that? Massive amounts of Quant. But keep in mind, how many Quant are there? There's less Quant than Bitcoin, but I don't remember the total number. Let me just look that up for a moment. Bear with me, folks. See, I like to look up stuff on the spot now as well. I do a little research in the morning, early in the morning before my day begins. But then I'll do a little research right before the videos as well. How much Quant token is there total? Let's ask Google that question. Let's see what happens here. I thought so. There's only 14 million Quant total. So if they start locking a value, it doesn't take a lot for Quant to skyrocket. I'm just talking possibility here. There's no guarantee in anything. But because of those relationships with those big banks and interbank payments, and Quant specifically not specifically, but heavily dealing with interbank payments, of course, they'll probably do retail also because they're so deeply ingrained in the United Kingdom and with the Bank of England. But it wouldn't take a lot to make Quant's price go up. And for me, Quant is one of those bank coins where it's a super long hold for me. Super long hold for me, because I feel like it could be so explosive in the future. Just my humble opinion. You guys let me know what you think. All right. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But anyway, it says interbank payments and securities transactions, because it is virtually free of credit and liquidity risk, and it enables institutions to reach settlement finality and promotes financial stability. CEBM is ideal for systemically important transactions despite the emergence of alternative payment instruments. We'll leave that one right there. Let's move on here. I feel like we're making pretty good time, and I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. I know it's like 33 minutes in, but because of the auto captions, once again, if you use certain systems, just know if you try to put your own auto captions in there for the people, it can take a long time. So, and that makes it difficult to get the videos out on time, but the people seem to like the auto captions. So I'm continuing to try to do that. So we have 4 articles left. Well, let's skip this one here about Grayscale and ETF applications. We talked a little bit about countries ditching the dollar. Oh, Solana. Let's get to the Solana news. Cover a little bit of Solana. One of the coins I love a lot. Super bullish on Solana. So, but this is more of a warning article, I believe. So this article is titled "Over 50%." You see, there's always a reverse side to every shield. And a sword can cut both ways. Double-edged sword cuts both ways. Over 50% of pre-sold Solana meme coins abandoned. within 1 month after $25 million raise abandoned. So let's find out what they're talking about. Solana meme coin pre-sales have rugged investors over $25 million within the past month, as more than 50% of the top projects were abandoned, with some never even launching a token. And you know what's important about this and why this caught my eye? Because I rarely see articles about this. I see a lot of article writers pushing meme coins. And don't get me wrong, to each his own, do what you do. All right. You make your own decisions. But I just think it's dangerous because there's a lot of new people in crypto. They've let me know. They say, hey, Mick, I'm new. I don't know anything. I just got here. There's a lot of new people in crypto and they don't know about rug pulls. They don't know about scam coins. And so if all you see and you're brand new is positive things about meme coins, oh, get this meme coin. This meme coin could go up 200%, 1000%, whatever. Then you may be at risk of being convinced by that, putting your money in, and it could be one of these coins that gets abandoned. It could get rug pulled. You know what I mean? And people don't talk about that enough. They only talk about the positives to meme coins. And I just hope that, you know why I think about that? Because there's so many good people out there I've interacted with through this channel. Okay. And they have families. They have lives, and you have to understand, if people lose a significant amount of money, that could ruin their lives forever. It ruin their lives. And I hope that doesn't happen to people. I do. That's what I'm just saying. I hope that doesn't happen to people. So I think both sides should be told. That's why I don't think anything should be spoken about like it's a guarantee. Most people know that these things are not guarantees, and everything is not a guarantee. Nothing is a guarantee, but, still, there should be a balance to things. I just don't see it these days at all. I think, and this is why I said at the beginning, remember, earlier this year, I said, I think this is going to be the most dangerous bull run because so many people are desperate to make money. They'll sell you anything. So I'm just saying, just be careful, folks. Be careful. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. This is not advice, but I hope the best for you. I hope the best for you. So I hope that you'll be careful. So now let's move on. Let's move on here. All right. We're going to end off with this Blackrock article. Why not? BlackRock has been making waves as of late. And this is going to show you they're very serious about this. There's a lot of capital, a lot of value going to be coming to real world assets. This article is titled, if this website will work, BlackRock aware that real world assets. Now it scrolls up when I'm talking. Real world assets are multi-trillion-dollar opportunities. Sounds a lot like what Ripple was saying, doesn't it? So a lot of these big companies have spoken on this. So now there's a consensus that this is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. So now at least there's a firm ground to base our thoughts on as to what type of value is coming in the future to any blockchain or a bank coin or utility coin project that's going to go heavy in real world assets. It also makes a lot of sense, once again, why Ripple was talking heavily about real world assets. But it says this, Kinto co-founder Victor Sanchez says real world asset tokenization could be the future of finance and explains why BlackRock has decided to get in on the action. It says crypto markets focus on real world asset tokenization has gained momentum throughout 2024, and multiple entities within the traditional finance industry are also integrating blockchain and asset tokenization into their portfolios. Now, wait a minute. When it comes to making sales, you want to have a global reach. BlackRock, like a lot of other institutions, will be siloed. They will not have global reach. So that means you have to have bridges. You have to have a connector. You have to have bridge currencies to move that value to other regions, which a lot of money is made in regions that are not friendly to the West. And those other regions make a lot of money in the West. You have to have a connector piece. So that money is in play to a lot of these interoperability projects. It says Cointelegraph Markets spoke with Victor Sanchez and Alan Keegan, the co-founders of real-world asset-focused blockchain project Kinto, to explore the market potential of tokenized real-world assets. Both shared their views on the factors behind the rapid growth of RWAs and why they believe, quote, big institutions, unquote, such as BlackRock are bullish on the asset class. Victor Sanchez says interest has always existed due to the obvious advantages, removing middlemen and their cost, an incredibly liquid and efficient 24/7 market, and a transparent ledger. RWAs and TradFi have now found a counterparty safe, secure, composable, and usable space in places and processes like the ones we implemented at Kinto. And then he says RWAs are a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, and these big institutions are aware that blockchain technologies can go from 0 to 100 in a single bull market. Boom. Exactly. I told you they're here for the big money, not the little money. And they haven't begun to push yet. Not yet. They haven't even used their media connections to push yet. They're still building. So the time where crypto reaches its peak is still somewhere off there into the future. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.